Farm, several communities in San Diego are embarking on updates to their community plans, anticipated to require a few years to complete. In the meantime, what would you propose to limit new development until these updates are completed and approved?
I do not have a perfect answer on that yet, because I don't want communities holding builders hostage, lagging their feet on a community plan update. But I think that we need to go in and look at some balance so that developers and builders and construction does have to slow down and in some way contribute to that process, not particularly financially. It may be kind of holding off in some aspects. There needs to be some encouragement from the development end as well as from the community and to get those plans updated. And so I'm still mulling this in my mind and trying to figure out how you would balance all of that so that you just couldn't begin to initiate big projects, certain projects, new projects, whatever it would be, with some kind of reasonable expectation that if the community didn't get on with this and make some benchmark on a timetable, then maybe they could kick in and proceed. But it'd give the community and the developers some incentive to be pushing this along as much as they could. And I know developers and builders watching this will say, well, now what in the world can we do with a community plan? Well, they can bring political pressure to bear as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Again, this is Ron May. In some communities, such as Mission Valley, new development has exceeded the infrastructure's capacity. What would you propose to mitigate this situation with new development?
I can't comment on some specific projects that are already there. I've gone out and done some site visits with community members, and I tend to like to do this sort of thing. And I say to the developer, I'm going out and meeting with neighbors. We're going to stand next to your property. They're going to talk to me about what their concerns and their things that they like. And then I meet with developers as well. And at this point, a lot of this is still around the meeting with Donna in the council office. And I can't comment on those because some of them will come quasi-judicial either during her last months here of term or maybe during mine. So I don't want to penalize good development and have them pay for the mistakes of the city using up DIF money and other developers maybe not paying DIF money or not doing their fair share. However, we all know that you're going to have to slow down somewhere under some circumstances if we get any greater water shortage. I take Quarry Falls, for example, because that's already passed. That is out of the floodplain, or a little farther out of the floodplain. It's been out there designed as a development for years. It wasn't permitted, but we all knew there was going to be development there. When you have a master plan that comes through, instead of piecemealing another condo project here, another one there, it all kind of looks haphazard and it just fills in with multifamily use. I know that's zoned residential, single residential, but you can get those changed if enough people want to come down and, heckle. I'm happier to have a development like that that comes in and tries to work and put in some contribution to some parks, to some amenities, to fire and the rest, and willing to pay. And I've said to all the groups I've talked to, including Mission Valley, there are a few other things that I would ask for, and some of this may come back yet again on a plan amendment one of these days, because there's still a road up out of Quarry Falls that's proposed going up to the interchange at 805 and Murray Ridge Road, which is kind of the southern piece of Birdland, not Birdland, but Serra Mesa, another community. I would be supportive of that if that road came to an intersection rather than an existing street. In other words, out on the interchange, you've got to cross, bring in a 5-point intersection there. I know Caltrans doesn't like things that loop around that sharply, and they might want to get involved. But keep the traffic from Mission Valley out of Serra Mesa, except at that intersection. You wait another turn in light, you don't wait behind more cars coming out of Mission Valley. And you literally alleviate some of the traffic that would be dumping down into Mission Valley. I mean, there's some things that are give and take with what we do, so that if we do this, we ought to be alleviating some of the problem we're complaining about. Friars Road, as everyone knows, is a mess, but it's mostly a mess at the 163 interchange, down along Camino de Lorena, at, Qualcomm at Mission Center. Otherwise, there's some traffic that does flow through some parts of Mission Valley. I lived down there for nearly 5 years. And people talk about the Qualcomm site. And what would you put in there? And I say, well, obviously you want to put as much parkland as you can, but be careful. A big park down there is going to be a regional park. It's not going to be a community park. So you're going to be bringing in people off of other areas around the county for their soccer tournaments and everything else that we have a shortage of fields for. And they're going to be bringing traffic into Mission Valley. So there's a little bit of, we're already stuck, we're already damned, and we're going to have to manage it the best we can. But I really would hate to exacerbate some of those hot spots that I've mentioned already by adding a ton of density to what we've already got around some of those places where, especially around the holidays, traffic just simply gridlocks. Obviously, as I've mentioned in my response to the questionnaire, you want developers to pay for improvements as the development's built. The city's going to have to step up and kind of keep that money and not use it on other projects, which we've kind of done with the fire station in Mission Valley. We've got a trailer down there, and now we don't have as much money in the funds for the new fire station as we would have had. And so as money sits there, it's easy to sometimes just go use it for something else. The city's going to have to do its part and not be wasting diff money that's already been given. But obviously, your intersections, I wouldn't want to build streets a whole lot wider than they are down there. And your water and your pipes, some of the other, the schools, if we need one down there, and certainly fire stations, those things are going to have to be built. And it's, if not slowing down until they're built, at least asking for a fair contribution, and not revitalizing things that are just exacerbating the situation that maybe they already have where it's overcrowded. Most of all, I want to work with the communities where these things take place. And in Mission Valley, that gets to be fairly tricky because you have a community planning group that's property owners, business owners, people that may or may not live there, but they have representation there. Those people do have a vital stake in the community, and many of them do care about the mess that's down there. I mean, it hurts their business. They have a moral conscience. So I think it's a matter of working with that whole group and dragging in more and enticing and bringing in more residents as well to be participants in that whole stakeholder process.